Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to take a look at Baby J's account after just over 1 month of playing the game. I'm going to talk to you about the things that have been very hard because there have been some very hard bottlenecks to overcome. There's also been some things that have been very easy to overcome. So I'm going to kind of compare those things. I'm going to take a peek back at this month-long journey as I've tried to play as efficiently as possible, give you some more tips as a new player, tell you what really to look out for, what I recommend pulling, what I recommend skipping, how I recommend kind of planning out the account, and then we're just, going to take a peek at things. I want to also mention that as far as spending money on the account goes, I've tried to be as normal as possible. This is not a whale account. Whaling I don't consider normal. Instead, what I did was I bought the really good deals that you get as a brand new player. I'm going to assume that somebody who starts the game, and even if they start free to play, if they really like it, those first deals are so good. It's the best values you're probably ever going to get with money. So I picked those up, and since then I've really only bought the special discounted Visior Pack H that everybody says they buy. So it's definitely a dolphin level account, and I'll continue to play it at that rate. I want to say too that I've enjoyed this immensely. Playing this account, knowing everything I know about the game and starting fresh has been one of the most fun experiences I've had with War of the Visions in a really long time. Like, it is a whole new perspective on the game. There are game modes that I disregard on my main account that are just a core part of my gameplay experience here and something I look forward to literally every day I have fun with this account. Okay, let's go into it. First thing I want to show you is where I am as far as progressing the story. I am in between right now part 2 and part 3. It takes forever. It takes a really long time to push through the story in this game, which is nice because it feels like you constantly have this trickle of Visior. I'm at 58,385 Viz right now. There's still a lot more out there for me to go get, and I have not been shy about pulling. I've done quite a bit of pulling, and since I'm not whaling and constantly bringing in extra sources of Visior, I think my Visior is pretty representative of what you could have after a month of smartly playing the game. Now, I haven't pulled excessively. I haven't just gone for everything. I've been strategic about my pulls, and you're going to see that here in a minute. Let's go look at the units next. This is something I clicked the wrong button. This is something that I've really tried to focus in on. My starting element was light. I made that choice because Lucio is a 140able unit for everybody. Now, it did take me about 3.5 weeks of building up the account, getting Espers, vision cards, gear, before I could complete the last quest to get him to 140, but since then he's been a core part of my team, and Light is my strongest 5-man team, Light is my strongest 3-man team right now, and he's a huge part of that. The rest of the squad is a new unit in Valentine's Day Miranda, 100 cost Wingstern, 100 cost Bartz, who was also free when I started playing the game. And this is one of the first big tips I want to give you. If you start playing during a collaboration, like maybe you're watching this during the Final Fantasy VIII collaboration that's coming soon, Renoa is a free unit during the Final Fantasy VIII collab. Yes, you're going to have to spend Visior to build her. Prepare yourself to buy every piece of shard you can find with Viz, but you have so much Visior to start the game that that's really not a setback, and it's so worth getting that new collab unit at 140 that you don't have to pull for. Pulling is the most expensive part of building a unit unless you're insanely lucky, so take advantage of the free one. Bartz was free. For me personally, I combined that with Lucio, threw together Wingstern is on those first step up banners as a new player. You can get him right there. And then since my initial 5-man squad, and I used the newbie select ticket for Macherie because I thought that was cool. I just kind of wanted to play with Macherie. Since then, Starlight Elena has come back into the game, been on a banner, and I'm using her to continue to flesh out my Light account. Now, I'm pivoting off of Light though. Light is no longer going to be a big focus for me unless there's just some like top tier new Light unit that comes out. I've made it to the point in the game, this was about in the 3 to 4 week mark, where I saw that I would be able to start branching into other elements. The first other element I branched into was Ice. I think Ice is a very welcoming element for new players because Medina, if you take her all the way to 140, get both of her master abilities, get that Transcendence, she's got her upgraded limit break now, she's a very strong unit. It's not instantly 140 with her. You do have to take advantage of the Mog shop to get her shards, but she's a friend metal shard. You can get those almost every day. I've not done any soul star exchanges for her at all. I just farm her shard quest every day. She's in my guild barracks, and then when I can, I buy those 10 shards from the friend shop, although just doing that does tap out my friend metals basically every day. But she's really close to MLB. At that point, I'll get the rest of her mind spheres from her bingo board, which will put me at her EX job. Like, I'll be able to take that all the way up. Then I won't need very many more to get her to 140. So it's a very free unit, just not free instantly. I highly suggest building her if you're going to go for ice. Also, one of the newest banner units to come to the game was King Jaden right here. You can see I've got him at level 107. His main job level is 22, and I'm just slow building him. I pulled him during his banner. I bought all the shards I could for Viz, and then I've just accepted that along with Medina, he's going to kind of rise up through the ranks. He's a big time new unit in this game, and he and Medina will hit that like maxed out rank at about the same time. After that, I off-bannered a Reagan on a poll session. So I used all of our like monthly 40 select shard tickets on him. I used soul stars for him. I will use some Mog metal coins for him once I get him there. You can see I've already got him to level 99. He's just catching experience at this point. And so once he hits 99, he will be, that's a nice little 3-man squad right there. I'm also working on my ice selection team to add another UR, Rafael, to this account. That would make 4 UR units at maxed out if I could go through Rafael. Selection quests, I want to talk about this for a minute, used to be a thing that were considered only for veteran players. It's just not the case anymore. It's just not the case. Like, you have access to units like McLeod, who are in the far plane archive, that you can go farm all his shards and his mind spheres, and he's such a powerful unit. So he's up there. Curry, you get a select ticket for a bunch of MR shards, so I'm going to level Curry with him. These guys, like these SR units, look, you're going to do a lot of pulling as a new player, right? Like, you have your new player banners, you're going to be pulling for new stuff that comes out on banners. You're going to catch so many SR shards that you're going to be able to build up your Valades and your Surgeses of the world. So they'll join that squad. That's 4 plus 5, like, that's not too bad. Yes, you still need Espers and Vision cards to kind of make this team complete. You need gear as well, but you'll be farming that constantly as you play. My second element that I'm branching into as well is Earth. You want to talk about the easiest to get into selection quests in the game? Mont 140able, easy, no problem. Balo 140able, easy, no problem. And I think Balo's little side quest that allows you to instantly 140 this man will be added to the far plane archives pretty soon. I could max out Murmur if I wanted to. Instead, I used Etra, who is another unit that you can unlock in the far plane archive. Moraga, obviously, one of the, like, he's the selection quest unit. And then I've been using Lorenzo, who I was able to get to 107. Now, I wish I would have done Livial instead, but I didn't have her when I started this. She was one of the last units I've pulled on this page for some reason. Still, I could do Murmur. I'm on the last selection quest for Earth. If I finish that, my Moraga will be 140, and then he'll be ready to join Renoa, who's the free FF8 unit that we're getting in maybe like a month to a month and a half. They will be joined by Queen Ma Cherie, who I'm slow building. She was one of my opening level 99 units, but I've been doing her hard quests every day. She's been sitting in my barracks. So by the time my Moraga is ready, my Renoa is ready, I'll have Ma Cherie to join them, and that'll be a nice little 3-man Earth team that I can play. Catone is somebody who I can level from the Mog shop. And then the nice thing about Earth in this account is, with Balo and Mont being MR or an SR tank, my cost limited Earth team is looking pretty good for something like Limited Guild Wars. Those have been the only 3 elements that I've focused on at all. Now, I do have some like dark units sitting here that I just got with those newbie banners. I'll mess with dark eventually. That might be one of my next ones, but everything else is sitting at like abysmal levels. Like, nothing has been gone into those. And so I think this is about the appropriate speed with which you can expect to advance units as a new player. I do think the paradigm has shifted. Back in the day, my initial advice to a new player would have been to build a rainbow team that had a tank, a healer, and 3 DPS units to use for PvE. I think these days you can very easily go mono element from the start, especially if you're willing to like re-roll a little bit on that 3-step new player banner where you get those 100 cost characters, making sure you get the ones that are within your element. That'll be a big help. And especially if you want to do light, you get that Lucio, man. So I think I think your first team can very well be mono element when you start the game. Now, I had no problem doing it, and I have not even started with my light selection quest yet to get my Camilo up there, but I will do that as well once I kind of need to branch out. Okay, now I want to talk about the first big power up that you get besides units, and that's Espers. Here's what my Espers look like right now, sorted by level. You can see I've got a couple slashing Espers here, about 3 of those. I got a magic Esper that I happen to pull in Carbuncle. I've got a tank Esper right here in Greater Demon. Managed to pull Dark Shiva. That was an important one for me since I'm branching out into Ice and going that King Jaden route. Odin is definitely the best thing on the new player select vision card ticket, because the Esper, like, first of all, single target resist in a rainbow card is very useful, but the Odin Esper I needed it to finish the Lucio quest. I tried to do it without it. I tried to avoid having to go get Odin for a long time. I was unable to, but so I ended up pulling him with that select ticket. Very worth it. I use him all the time now. My Espers are pretty good. I do have some Magicite left over that I could be using on some of these, especially for elements like lightning, water, wind. I have leveled a wind one, but fire, I've really only leveled 1. So I have Magicite left over, and I have Magicite select tickets. But like with Dark, for example, I kind of tried to level 2 and ended up running out. So I'd have to tap into those tickets a lot here. My point is, the first month that you play, or the first calendar month that you're playing the game, you're not really going to be leveling Espers very much. When that second calendar month rolls around, that's when you come in here, and right now we are in this account's second calendar month. It's about to end. I started right at the end of last month, and so the first thing I did was put all my benefit exchange into Esper EXP up. That was a big step forward for this account. That is what allowed me to start clearing like brutal difficulty level missions with my mono light team. I had to manual a lot of them, and then I could skip ticket around, and skip tickets are tight as a new player. You burn through those things, but I could clear it on auto a lot eventually, and background repeat started becoming usable. Espers are very, very important. I want to talk next about vision cards. Here was what I thought the biggest the hardest to overcome bottleneck for a new player was, because with vision cards, you're essentially limited to the select tickets that you get when you start the game, which those are wonderful, but after that, it's whatever comes out, and you kind of just have to lean into, hey, here's a new vision card. Is it something I'm going to use? If the answer is yes now, or yes in the near future, get that thing and level it while you have the bingo board, level it while you have access to the shards for that vision card in the shop. Like the last 2 for me, again, Dark Shiva, it doesn't necessarily apply to these because these Dark Espers are not on a 5-step that you can just get for 10k. Still, Ice being my second element that I was going into, I decided that Dark Shiva was just worth it for my account. Didn't end up having to pity, which saved me a bunch, but now this will help my Ice team tremendously. I wish I had light element cards that were the equivalent of Dark Shiva. My light team would just go to that like actual top tier in the game. Cards like this are what I'm lacking in my light team. So knowing that I was going Ice second, it was very important for me. I saw this was an agility, crit evasion, magic. I was like, this is a premium vision card Esper. I'm getting it. So I did that. As far as the other ones, the non-dark Espers, like your fundamental forces of the world, I think just pick them up and build them. It's 10k viz for a vision card. I am building a sword red mage team. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. So I was like, ooh, sword red mage card. I don't really care about the evasion, but critical evade up, slash attack up. That's pretty good for the sword red mage team I'm looking at. Maximum to build this, well, it's 10k to pull, maybe a little bit more to build it. That's really not bad. And considering that vision cards are the thing that you're going to struggle with the most, these are worth building. I picked up every card that I've been able to. since we started, and I'm building them to 99. You're also going to end up leaning in to these like free ones you get, like Joyous Union, that have just generic rainbow buffs. These are great. You're going to use these on your teams for a long time. They're worth building. You should build those. It's like a Joyous Union, first step towards glory, max HP up. This seems bad. I use it all the time. I use it all the time. So lean into those. You also get Vow of Love at level 70 and Secret Orders at level 70. That's a big one. And then we just had the Raid Revival, where I got all these MR cards. I haven't leveled them all to 70, but I've been completing their quests. I'm currently working on another Sword Red Mage during the current summer event right now, but I take it slow. Here's a tip I have for building vision cards. You get free shards every day. You don't need to day one build a vision card. Go pull the thing, take advantage of all the free shards you get throughout the week, then awaken it, clear that bingo board, see what kind of soul stars or vision stars and medals in the Mog shop you have to spend, then spend some Visior on it. Building vision cards is cheap, guys. I'm telling you, building vision cards is cheap. And if Raid Revival rolls around sometime after you start, make sure you're getting all of the vision cards in there, like Luminous Serpent right here, which will help me so much if I build a dark anti-dark light team, which is something I do like to do. So make sure you take advantage of those. Now, gear. Gear is another thing that you're going to be a little bit limited in building, but not nearly as much as with vision cards. You do have access to the Farplane Archive. There is a lot of gear in there, but there's not a lot of like great gear in there. Yes, there's some good weapons, but like armor, it's kind of hurting. Accessories, yeah, there's some decent ones. But really, if you want to take full advantage of these two things, one, if there's a Raid Revival, hit it hard. Hit it at super hard. I hit Raid Revival as hard as I could, and I'm going to walk away with several +6 raid pieces of gear. Brigandine's really good, so you can see that's coming along nicely. Let me sort this by rarity here. Let's sort this by level, actually. So you can see right now I've got an Alex Ring and a Brigandine +6. Then every time a new farmable piece of gear comes out, you just farm it and build it. Like Divine Horn, Dawn Lantern. No, is that for Roth? Sure it is. Do you know who uses it for me? Masherie does, because it's my only +5 mace. It might not be her perfect mace, but it's pretty good for her. Candy Blade, this is something I unlocked from the Farplane Archive. Really good weapon for Miranda. Blood Sword, this is farmable from Legendary Reliquaries. I still cannot +5 any Legendary Reliquaries piece of gear. That's something that's still down the line, but just farm whatever gear's out. Build it up over time. White Cape's a decent accessory in there. I did push Tower enough where I could get Luminous Armlet, which is like the good piece of Tower gear in my opinion. But here's my gear. Also, the other thing you're going to want to take full advantage of is Trust Masters. There's some really good Trust Masters out there. Trust Masters like, well, here's what I just got access to, Radiant Grace. Obviously haven't leaned into this one yet, just got it a couple days ago, but this is a dark and light resist buff on here. That's wonderful. It has defense, spirit, and evade, something that would be very good for my anti-dark team if I'm ever going to build it. So do you know what you can do from a very early stage in this game? Arm Trust Stones. In fact, if there's a day where you're not background farming a new piece of gear or background farming something very specific or using your energy for like Raid Revival, here's exactly what you do. You go into events, you click events, you go into day training, you go into the Trust Stone Chamber, and whatever the double drop room is, you background farm that thing. You set up a team that is taking advantage of experience, and I'm going to show you an example of how to build one of those teams right now, and you background farm Trust Stone shards. Because the best gear in this game is gear like this. It is a good Trust Master that has pink Trust Stones on it. Pink Trust Stones with things like attack +20, luck up 10%. A well built out TMR is the best gear in War of the Visions. And there you go. So you do have access to really good gear early if you farm your Trust Stones. I think you can expect to farm out about one fully built pink set a month. So I'm currently working on my second set right now. This was the first one that I Trust Stoned out. I will probably do, I don't know which one I'm going to do second. I might do New King Oberon's Bride Oberon, Husband Oberon might be the next one I do there. So that's kind of the focus of what you're going to look for with Trust Stones. There we go. And TMRs. Take full advantage of TMRs, guys. They are very useful. Now, I want to show you a farming team. So I'm going to go to party 18 here for me. This is the Ice Selection Quest team that I'm working on. Now, note how I could put all of these characters to level 99. But one thing you're going to be short on as a newer player is rainbow EXP cubes. Do not waste them taking units to level 99. You're going to be doing so much background farming in this game. Set up teams. Like here, get a unit. Like I'm going to take Curry, for example, here. When you build up your King Curry, what you do is you limit break them as much as you can, you fully awaken them, and then when you hit this enhance screen, you max it and then take these to 0. Don't use any rainbow EXP cubes. This will take them to about level 80 or 81, depending on like how it works out. Then you level them from 80 to 99, background farming missions. You have basically a background farming team of units who would be using your rainbow cubes, but you're taking advantage of that EXP. Then you get them to you unlock their EX jobs, and then you do it some more, and you just have to be patient with this stuff. Your first batch, that first elemental team that you make, which was for me light, you're going to rush that a little more. You're going to use up a lot of your EXP cubes there because you need that strong team. You need those leveled up units. Your leveled up units are your first real source of power, especially before you have Espers. But after that, you're going to be short on rainbow cubes, and you're going to want to use those cubes to get those like last really annoying levels, or maybe for like some reincarnations if you go down that route. There's just better uses than level 80 to 99. So you always want to be taking advantage. The point of this story is you always want to be taking advantage of EXP farming. You always want to be taking advantage of that. The only time that I would say that's not the case is like right now. Let me show you my current team that is background farming. It's not my EXP team, and I'll tell you why. So if I click background and repeat right here, it's my strong team. It's my light team. The reason is we are farming the new weapon out. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this actually because I have enough recipes. The brutal difficulty quest, my EXP farming team cannot handle that. But now that I have enough recipes and enough mats that I think I could make the thing, I will stop that background farm and I will switch the background farm over to my EXP gaining team. Awesome. There you go. That's kind of the deal there. So that's the look at the Baby J count after 1 month. Our guild is making a lot of progress. We were about rank 700 when I joined. We're rank 572 now. I don't think we've lost a regular guild battle since I joined the guild. Part of that's probably because I did a little shout out on a YouTube video and got a lot of people in here, but still make sure you're taking advantage of your barracks every day. Unlock all of the slots in your barracks. Like, I'm not even gonna like confuse this at all. Unlock all of the slots in your barracks and take it all the way to 95,000. Right now I'm being a little bit lazy, and instead of farming shards, I'm leveling up bravery on my ice selection team. Not ideal, but I don't want to manually do that because I got a main account that I got to play. So I let the barracks do that. But once these are all at level 97 bravery, I will swap them to the current 5 units that I'm farming shards for. Take full advantage of that. Otherwise, guys, that's it. That's a look at the Baby J count after a month. That's kind of my feelings on it. Let me tell you, the funnest thing in the game for me lately has been selection quests, man. These are hard. These are really, really hard. It feels like I'm playing hard mode on a single player strategy RPG. And that's something that I think a lot of people really, really want. I think a lot of people want to feel like they're playing like a really hard version of OG Final Fantasy Tactics. And like using this team right here, which again, 140, 140, 120, 140, 107. This Earth Selection Quest, it's not that I can't beat it by clearing all the missions. I can't beat it with this. I've tried. I tried on stream the other day. I'm going to try some more tonight. It's so hard. It's so hard. I think it's possible for this team to win, but man, oh man. Okay, so I've had so much fun with that. And then PvP is exciting too, because like, I got to be real specific with who I fight. That's it, y'all. Okay, have a wonderful day. I hope this video was helpful. I hope the whole series of new player videos was helpful. I will check back in with this account from time to time, especially as it starts gathering some units and making teams that the other account, the main account, doesn't have. I will use this account to maybe even do like unit showcases. This is definitely not the last you're going to see of it. I like playing it too much. It's too much fun for me to just let it go at this point. All right, y'all, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.